I'm Emily Zhang, 36, and my life is proof that the deepest wounds can forge the strongest futures. At 8, my biological parents cast me aside for the sin of being a girl, a betrayal that could have shattered me. 28 years later, my adoptive father, Thomas, left me his $35 million fortune, a gift that drew my biological father, Charles, back with crocodile tears and open palms. This is the story of how I turned rejection into resilience, building a legacy of love and purpose. If you've ever had to redefine family or rise above hurt, this is for you. Drop a comment with where you're reading from, and let's connect over the power of chosen family. Hit subscribe if you believe in second chances. I grew up in a cozy bungalow in a quiet Sacramento suburb, where kids raced scooters and neighbors shared homemade pies. From the outside, we were the ideal family. My biological father, Charles Wu, was a sales director at a tech firm, a stern man whose traditional values left little room for warmth. My mother, Grace, was a part-time florist, gentle but submissive, always deferring to Charles. My brothers, Brian, 13 years older, and Kevin, 9 years older, completed the picture. Early memories glow with fleeting joy: kite flying at the park, holiday cookie baking, Mom teaching me to arrange flowers. But beneath it, I was already fading. Charles, steeped in a traditional Chinese-American mindset, saw sons as the family's legacy, daughters as temporary burdens destined for another man's home. By 5, I felt the difference. Brian's mathlete trophies earned booming praise. Kevin's basketball wins meant celebratory dinners. My perfect reading scores? A quick, "Nice, Emily," before talk turned to my brothers. I chased Charles's approval, acing spelling bees, joining science club, begging for a skateboard instead of a doll at 6. Nothing worked. Mom tried to soften the sting, teaching me to make bouquets or cook family recipes. "These make you special," she'd say, her voice tinged with regret, as if preparing me for a life where my worth lay in pleasing others. My 8th birthday laid bare my place. Brian got a new computer for his, Kevin a BMX bike and a block party. Mine? A homemade cake, a few gifts from Mom and Kevin, and a $12 bookstore card from Charles, who was at a meeting. Later, I overheard him on the phone. Emily's birthday, kept it low-key, no need to go big for a girl. In bed, clutching that card, I cried, realizing my gender made me lesser, a disappointment from the moment I was born. I tried harder, bringing home perfect report cards, learning basketball stats to join Charles's conversations. His nods were brief, his focus always on my brothers. Everything changed just after my 8th birthday. One foggy evening, Mom called a family meeting. Brian was at college, but Kevin, Charles, and I sat as she announced, her hands trembling, "We're having another baby." Charles's face lit up like never before. "It's a boy," he declared, hugging her tightly. "I know it." Mom's eyes avoided mine, her smile strained. The house became a shrine to the unborn son. Charles painted the guest room navy, bought tiny 49ers jerseys, and talked endlessly of his boy. "He'll be a tech mogul, maybe a point guard," he'd say at dinner. Relatives echoed, "Another Wu boy to carry the name." I shrank smaller, my voice quieter, my presence dimmer. I offered to help with the baby, hoping to belong. "I can read to him," I said, folding navy onesies. Charles smirked. "Girls are good for that." My role was clear: caretaker, not heir. When Ethan was born, Charles's joy was explosive. He threw a hospital bash, handed out cigars, and posted photos captioned, "My legacy continues." I faded, fetching diapers, warming bottles, trying to prove my worth. My science fair ribbon went unnoticed. Ethan's first giggle was headline news. Overheard late-night talks revealed the truth. "4 kids is too much," Charles said. "Brian's tuition, Kevin's sports, Ethan's future. It's a strain." Mom's voice shook. "What are you suggesting?" Charles's reply was ice. "Emily's a girl. She'll marry out. We're wasting resources on someone else's future." At 8, those words seared me. Useless, a burden, disposable. Weeks later, I woke to them packing my clothes. "We need to talk," Charles said, his tone cold. "We're struggling, Emily. Another family can give you more. Better schools, more attention." It was a lie. Their business was thriving. Ethan's nursery was decked with high-end gear. Mom's eyes were wet, but she stayed silent. "I don't need much," I begged. "I'll share with Ethan. I'll be good." Charles's face was stone. "This is best for everyone." The next morning, they drove me to an adoption agency, my life in one worn suitcase. Charles shook the social worker's hand. Mom hugged me briefly, whispering, "I'm sorry." They drove off without looking back. I stood in the agency's sterile lobby, an 8-year-old discarded for being a girl. The next 2 years were a haze of foster homes. The first was chaotic, 8 kids crammed in, parents too overwhelmed to notice me. The second couple wanted a toddler, not a troubled 8-year-old. The third saw me as a paycheck, their affection as cold as the agency's walls. I buried myself in books and schoolwork, my only anchors. Friends were risks. Each move meant a new school, new faces. My social worker, Ms. Rivera, saw my silence. "You can trust again, Emily," she said. I didn't believe her. Trust had betrayed me. Then came Thomas Bennett, a 63-year-old widower and retired civil engineer. His craftsman home in Davis was warm, polished wood floors, a garden bursting with lavender, shelves brimming with books. He greeted me in a flannel shirt, blue eyes kind. "Emily, I hear you love to read," he said, crouching despite stiff knees. "Want to see my library?" Instead of rules, he showed me his tools, a vegetable patch and a bare room. "If you stay, it's yours to design," he said. I moved in, wary, my suitcase my only constant, braced for rejection. Thomas didn't push. He cooked hearty dinners, asked about my day, and listened. He left novels on my desk, noticing my love for stories. One night, after a nightmare of my parents' car vanishing, I woke screaming. Thomas knocked softly, bringing cocoa. "Bad dreams are tough," he said, sitting by my bed. "I had them after my wife passed." He stayed in the hall all night, a quiet guardian. That cracked my walls. He attended my book fairs, helped with math, and shared his passion for engineering, driving me to see Sacramento's bridges and towers. For my 9th birthday, he built me a bookshelf. "You see how stories connect people, Emily. That's a gift." On my 10th birthday, he took me to a pancake house, then the courthouse. "I want to adopt you," he said. "You're my daughter, if you'll have me." Tears fell, hopeful ones. "Yes," I whispered. Months later, I became Emily Bennett, legally his. We painted my room sage green, with a mural I designed of a starry sky. Thomas enrolled me in therapy with Dr. Sarah, who helped me unpack my abandonment. "Their choices don't define your worth," she said. With Thomas's love, I began to believe it. High school brought confidence. Thomas nurtured my growing interest in design, taking me to architectural landmarks like the California State Capitol. For my 16th birthday, he gifted professional drafting software. "You'll build spaces that inspire," he said. I met Lily, a vibrant poet who became my chosen sister. Her loud, loving family showed me equal affection. I graduated valedictorian, Thomas cheering loudest. With his savings, I attended UC Berkeley's architecture program, calling him weekly, returning to garden or read together. At 24, I graduated with honors and joined a top Sacramento firm, designing sustainable public spaces. Thomas and I bought a fixer-upper, spending weekends tiling bathrooms, his pride boundless. By 31, I was a lead architect, my eco-friendly libraries and community centers earning national awards. Architectural Digest called me a visionary for a park pavilion blending green tech and human connection. Thomas kept every clipping, boasting about my architect daughter. But at 85, his health faltered. Tremors, fatigue, memory slips. "Just old age," he laughed. But I saw the truth. At 34, over our weekly dinner, Thomas barely ate, his frame frail. "Dad, we need a doctor," I said. He sighed. Pancreatic cancer, Emily. Stage 4. Diagnosed 5 months ago. My world shattered. Why hide it? I cried. We can fight. He shook his head. I want quality, not quantity. I've had a full life with you. He asked me to help him die with dignity and live boldly after. I took leave, caring for him, reading novels, watching old films, reminiscing about our bridge tours. He faced death fearlessly, regretting only missing my future designs. I'll watch from somewhere, he promised. One June morning, sunlight streaming through his lavender garden, Thomas passed, my hand in his. My grief was raw but grateful, his love my foundation. At his funeral, I spoke. Thomas Bennett chose me when my blood family didn't. Family is love, not obligation. Lily held my hand, former foster kids and colleagues filling the pews. Weeks later, Thomas's lawyer, Rachel, revealed his $35 million estate from engineering patents and investments. It's all yours, she said. News broke. Sacramento architect inherits fortune. And my phone buzzed with unknown numbers. I changed it, sensing trouble. 6 months later, my doorbell rang. Through the camera, a man in his late 60s, familiar yet foreign. Emily Wu? He asked via intercom. It's Charles Wu, your father. My heart froze. The man who'd discarded me stood there in a worn blazer, claiming kinship. I'm Emily Bennett, I said, blocking the door. What do you want? His smile was forced. I've searched for you for years. The news about your inheritance helped me find you. I scoffed. 28 years and you show up now? He claimed Mom's dying wish was to reconnect, his eyes teary. Years of therapy sharpened my instincts. He was lying. I need time, I said, taking his card. Goodbye, Mr. Wu. He protested, call me Dad. I shut the door, the word reserved for Thomas. That night, I called Lily. Is he for real? She asked. I'll find out, I said. I hired a private investigator who revealed Charles's truth. His career tanked after fraud allegations, a gambling addiction led to bankruptcy, and he'd made no effort to find me until the inheritance hit the news. My brothers, Brian and Kevin, had cut him off years ago. Ethan, the perfect son, was estranged after college disputes. Charles was broke, his hotel claim a lie. He lived in a rundown apartment. I met him at a public diner, choosing a booth with a clear view. He arrived late, full of excuses. You've become so successful, he said, smiling. I always knew you would. Did you? I replied. You gave me up because I was a girl, worthless to you. He faltered. We were struggling. We wanted better for you. Better than Brian, Kevin, or Ethan? I pressed. You celebrated their births, not mine. He shifted, claiming regret. Your family. Blood matters. I leaned in. Thomas Bennett was my father. He loved me unconditionally. You're here for the money. His mask slipped. That rich man stole you. You owe me. I gave you life. I stood. Your rejection led me to Thomas. For that, I thank you. But you get nothing else. He shouted as I left. Ungrateful girl, you're nothing without me. His harassment escalated. Late-night calls, anonymous emails, a letter claiming he was dying. The final straw, he ambushed me in my office parking lot. You can't ignore me, he snarled. I'm your father. I called security. Thomas Bennett was my father. You're a stranger who made a choice. As they escorted him away, he yelled, This isn't over! I was done. I met with Rachel, ordering a cease and desist letter and enhanced security. Inspired by Thomas, I founded the Thomas Bennett Foundation for Foster Dreams, channeling $18 million into housing, scholarships, and STEM programs for foster youth, especially girls. At the first project's ribbon cutting, a 40-unit complex for aged-out foster kids, I spoke. Thomas chose me when my blood family didn't. Family is who shows up, day after day. The crowd, including Lily and former foster kids, cheered. That night, in Thomas's old rocking chair, I held our college graduation photo. "We did it, Dad," I whispered. "We built something beautiful." Months later, Kevin emailed, having seen the foundation's news. "I never forgot my little sister," he wrote. We met, his familiar eyes sparking memories of sneaking me candy. He'd tried to find me, but adoption records were sealed. He shared Mom's regret. She'd left Charles, dying alone, haunted by my loss. We rebuilt a cautious bond, a flicker of family reclaimed. Charles's final legal threat, a baseless adoption challenge, fizzled. At a meeting, I offered one thing: addiction counseling. He refused, shouting, "You owe me!" I walked away, saying, "I'm Emily Bennett. I owe you nothing." The foundation flourished, housing hundreds, funding futures. Charles vanished, reportedly chasing casinos in Atlantic City. My scar from his rejection remains, but Thomas's love, my resilience, and the lives we're changing turned pain into purpose. Share your story of chosen family below. Like, subscribe, and let's celebrate families built on love, not blood.